Hey, what's up guys? This is Constant from Revolution. Today I'm very happy to show you the new Longines Spirit Flyback Chronograph. Before I go into the watch itself, I would love to tell you guys more about Longines' amazing history and its connection to the chronograph. Longines was actually created in 1832 by August Agassiz. Okay, and back in the day, Longines watches were actually created very different from what you think of a manufacturer today. So the watch parts were made mostly at the watchmaker homes, and then the final assembly were actually done in the workshop. This trend of production is named établisage, and it is a proto-industrial mode of economic production spread from the 18th century onwards. 20 years later, August's nephew, Ernest Francillon, took over the business and it revolutionized Longines. Right, it built a proper manufacture for Longines, and from that day on, every Longines watches were made in-house. So Francillon was actually one of the first rare industrialists to introduce the industrialization of watchmaking in Switzerland. And that paved the way for a new watch production mode in the country with the end of the so-called établisage kind of production. And it is what you know about Swiss watchmaking today. One thing you must note is Longines actually has the world oldest active trademark. Longines actually trademarked their brand with the wing, with the hourglass, in 1889, which makes it 134 years old this year. So it is the oldest. In 1911, Longines actually created the first ever mechanical wristwatch, which is actually made for Russian pilots back in the war with the caliber 19.73. In 1913, Longines actually created its world-famous movement, the caliber 13.33. This movement itself is a revolutionary movement. It's actually the blueprint for all of the manual wound chronographs construction. It is highly technical. It's very intricate as well. Very difficult to produce at that time. One interesting fact to note in this period of time for Longines is that a female pilot with the name of Amelia Earhart wore a Longines watch and did two of her famous Atlantic crossing, one in 1928 and one in 1932. She received the caliber 13.33Z, okay, that was manufactured in the late 1910s by people involved in the preparation of her 1928 flight. So Amelia's Longines is now in the possession of D99s, which is an international organization of women pilots. And coincidentally, Amelia Earhart was elected as their first president in 1931, since its founding in 1929. So in 2010, Shannon Walker, an astronaut and also part of the 99s, brought Amelia's Longines watch up to the International Space Station 82 years after its historical first flight. In 1925, Longines introduced its world's first flyback chronograph with two independent pushers with a modified caliber 13.33Z. So the earlier chronographs are all mono pushers. Mono pusher means that there is only one button for the chronograph function. Start, stop and reset will all be used on that single button. But with the two pushers, it is actually easier and less confusing, and it's more modern and more practical. From 1925 up to 1936, Longines manufactured small amounts of several flyback chronographs, mostly with the 13.33Z caliber. While refining its technology, in 1936, Longines finally introduced the first ever serialized flyback chronograph, and it is one of the most impressive movements ever made, the caliber 13ZN. I think many vintage collectors, including me, will agree that it is one of, if not the best, mechanical chronographs ever made. It is the first time that a flyback chronograph was actually made in mass production. A flyback chronograph gives you the option to reset while the chronograph is running. The flyback function will have mainly been used in two different contexts. First will be navigation purposes. Okay, pilots often needed to time various legs of their flights, usually defined by geographic marks such as a river, a railroad track, a coastline. And the moment when they were crossing such a mark, they would need to start a new timing sequence. With the introduction of the flyback chronograph, you can just do this by pushing the button once. Number two, of course, will be the timing of spots. Okay, the flyback function became valuable in sports timing, particularly for timing events involving multiple laps. An example would be boat racing, aviation racing, and so on and so forth. In 2020, Longines actually launched the Spirit Collection. It is an entirely new collection to commemorate Longines' long history with aviation. It comes with two sizes, 40 and 42 mm for the 3-hand date, and a 42 mm for the Spirit Chronograph. So in 2022, Longines introduced the Spirit Zulu Time, which is a GMT that comes with a variety of colors, the Spirit 37mm, and of course, the Spirit Pioneer Edition chronograph. in 2023, Longines released two amazing releases in the Spirit collection. The Spirit Zulu Time in 39mm and of course this, the Spirit Flyback Chronograph. It comes in this 42mm stainless steel case, beautifully brushed and polished on the chamfers and the bevels. Pump pushers, you know, as tradition goes, pump pushers is timeless and it's more stylish in my opinion. And this beautiful crown, you know, with the old Longines logo, with the matte finishing at the tip of the crown. I think that's a nice touch as well. It comes with a ceramic bi-directional 60-minute counter bezel. So the bezel itself comes, you can turn it to left or right, depending on what you're actually timing, which I think is pretty functional. One thing that I gotta say that I like about this watch itself is the glass, right? So this is actually a anti-reflective coated sapphire dome glass. It reminds me a little bit of a vintage watch as well, so I think that's a nice touch. I really like this. The black face comes with rose gold indices, rose gold hands, rose gold Arabic applied numerics as well. Of course, it comes with the 5 stars, which is the signature of all Spirit collection. This is actually a new movement created just for this watch. Okay, it is the caliber 791.4. It is a column wheel chronograph. It is an anti-magnetic watch as well because it's actually using a silicon balanced spring. It's vibrating at 25,200, so almost 4 Hz, and has an impressive 68 hours power reserve. So overall, I think this is a great package altogether, and all of them can be admired under the beautiful sapphire case back. This watch itself comes with a variety of colors as well. This is the black face with the NATO strap. It also comes in this blue color as well. So this is actually with the metal bracelet. But of course, the watch also comes in leather straps as well. So we have a brown calf leather, a canvas strap with quick release, and of course with a deployment buckle as well. The Spirit Flyback Chronograph in metal bracelet is priced at 6,870. While either the leather or canvas strap or the NATO strap is retailing at 6,710. And I think that these watches have a lot of value in them. Try and find me a Flyback Chronograph under $7,000. So this is Console Revolution. I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.